62nd hour of Adventurers Wanted Rebellion. My name is Leo. I'm going to be your games master this morning. This is a relaxed performance, which means we have a relaxed attitude to sound and movement from the audience for the benefit of people who would struggle to sit still or be silent for an entire hour. The lights are going to stay exactly like this, and there should be no sudden loud noises, although there will be some mood music going on from time to time. Naomi here. Okay, the lights are now going to stay like this. Naomi, our stage manager, is willing to help if you need anything, so do give her a wave. And if you do feel like it's all getting a bit much, feel free to duck out the door you came in and ask to be re-admitted when you're ready. So, what is this? This is a tabletop role-playing game, which means that the three people on the left and right of me currently, there will be four, but I'm told that this chap here is at an awards ceremony that's overrunning. So the three people on the left and right of me are playing individual unique characters in a fantasy setting. As the games master, I play the fantasy setting. I play the weather, the adversaries that they find, the fire that they kindle. All of that is controlled by me and these dice, which we use to interact with one another. The most common die you'll hear us talking about is the D20, 20-sided die in icosahedron. The higher numbers are better, lower numbers are worse. People can roll natural 20. That just means they roll a 20 on the die, and that is an ultimate success, critical success. And rolling a natural 1 is very much the opposite, and sometimes quite hilarious. If you do have any questions, because I'm about to hit you with a big plot dump of exposition, if you do have any questions, please do feel free to shout out. We try and skate over a lot of the maths as well. So, this is our 62nd hour, so here is 61 hours of catch-up. The story so far, the characters are members of a rebellion, which for the last 5 years has been enslaved by an imperial cult and made to mine a mysterious ore, which they have now found out has very strange magical properties to do with time and energy and power, and they don't quite know how it works, but they do know it's very explosive. They found that out when, during the war that ensued after their rebellion, the capital city of Goldcrest of their country was completely annihilated by the explosion of this ore, and is currently stuck in a weird time loop where it continues to explode and rebuild itself and explode and rebuild itself. They haven't investigated that too closely, and I don't blame them. What they're trying to do is, most recently, they won a major victory with the cult, and they killed their leader. Where we left off, they were tracking the routed army to try and find where the cult live, where their headquarters is, so they can go and hit them at home, as it were. And the very last thing that they did was save a nice doppelganger in a farmhouse. We'll come back straight into that action in a moment, but first let's meet our players and their characters. So starting on my right here, tell us your name, your character's name, your pronouns, and give us a little bit about where their head is at the moment. And breathe.
Well done. My name is Reese. My character's name is Professor Digby Drusell, and our pronouns are he, him. I am a tabaxi, which is this bipedal cat person. Imagine an ocelot on 2 legs. And my signature piece of clothing is a tweed jacket with elbow patches. Imagine a geography teacher cat. I am a druid, which means my magical powers come from nature and my connection with it. And I have been through a lot in the last couple of days. I was there when the city blew up. I was inside a massive eldritch monster afterwards. And now I'm just having a nice conversation with a woman that can change how she looks.
Great. Catherine.
Hello, my name's Catherine. I use she, her pronouns, as does my character. My character is Dotty Heartfire, a plucky little dragonborn druid who runs a lovely little tavern where you can expect fresh home bakes. And actually, we've just had the breakfast room renovated, so there's now actually a breakfast bar.
Lovely.
Yes,
Continental.
Well, I mean, kind of a mix of fresh fruit. There's not a lot of fruit because, obviously, damage to the land. I'm also a druid, which is lovely. It means I can cast magic and help my community recover from such a terrible time. I'm quite well rested. I've been away for a week, so managed to look after me orphans and have a bath.
Vivek.
So my name is Vivek Santayana. My character's name is Markson Ingot. Both use he/him pronouns. My character is a dwarf barbarian, so just imagine someone short with a massive axe. And he used to be a blacksmith, and then when the cult took over, he was alienated from the product of his labor and when he was enslaved by the cult, and has decided to join the revolution to overthrow the tyranny of the bourgeoisie and seize the means of production. His alignment is chaotic good/revolution.
Great. Fantastic. And I'm sure we'll be meeting. Is Matt playing the character he was playing? Yeah, so we'll introduce him when he appears. He's stealthing right now. So, where we last left off, bless you. Where we last left off, the characters had come across a farmhouse in the river valley that they were tracking the cult down, and they found a group of 5 individuals outside who were trying to burn the farmhouse down, saying there was an evil shapeshifter changeling inside. They went inside and found that there was a shapeshifter inside, but that person wasn't evil, and then they scared away with some very good intimidation checks, jumping from windows. They scared away the individuals outside, and where we'll pick up is the shapeshifter has resumed her human female form, and she comes outside and looks at the window that Kid Matt jumped through, and sort of goes, I am very grateful to you all, but did you have to break the window?
Oh, it's okay.
Well, here's some scones to make up for it.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, yeah.
Is this pistachio?
No, it's cheese and olive and basil. It contains gluten. I didn't use any nuts, but I did clean my kitchen, so take of that what you will.
Holy crumbs! Someone else brought scones!
And the smell of the scones.
Yes, you see, it's a special occasion today. Today happens to be the birthday of a deity whom we follow.
All right, thank you, Beck.
It's Leo's birthday, in case you were wondering on Twitch.
I look up at the window, I reach into my pocket as I try and delicately hold the scone. I throw a ball of yarn up there, and this little cat appears wearing a toolman's belt and begins to mend the window.
A little builder cat. Yeah, and they mend the window magically, fixing the glass pane, and then disappear into nothing. The changeling looks and goes, who we call Dushek, looks and goes, oh, thank you very much. I was going to throw to you, Catherine, but...
I'm good.
You're good? All right.
Oh.
So you have been...
A man who can bake for Dottie.
You've been following the farmhouse. It has been established in other episodes that Dottie's tavern is indeed still up and running and still helping the orphans.
Is my postal service still running?
I don't know about the postal service.
See, I established a postal service, you see, to send, quaint little postcards around the village using the orphans. So I wanted to check if that was still canon.
I don't know, and we're not there yet. But I imagine if you had spent time maintaining it, then it would definitely be there.
Have the orphans unionized yet?
Listen, they like going on little walks.
So Dottie, you arrive to find Kid Matt, this bovine, half cow, half man paladin, looking very tired, and it looks like he's got a sore throat as well. And he's just stood there eating grass from the ground. It looks like he's been knocked out of the adventure at the moment.
You're right, young man. That's grass on the ground. If you come by my tavern later, I'll make you a nice melody of a medley even of honey and roasted thyme, and it'll soothe your throat.
So the two of you see Dottie appear.
Hello.
Hello, Dottie.
Oh, hey, Dottie.
How's it going?
So,
Good.
we didn't kill an innocent changeling, which is a good thing.
Right.
But we tracked the cult, and it appears they've gone onward to the ocean.
Oh, I guess we're going for a little holiday then. Little trip to the seaside, you know?
Oh, for my birthday. Roll a survival check.
Oh, Christ.
That's a 17.
22.
That's good.
9.
Okay. You're preoccupied with your little builder cat. But the two of you look out west down the valley following the river, and it is really apparent where this army has moved through here. The ground is churned up, and as you look down across the valley, which slopes down in elevation as you look out to the west, you can't quite see the sea yet, but you can see the land is pretty scorched. The farmland, the fields in particular, are fine, but the trees and the buildings around here do look like an army has moved through here. Some of them still smouldering from whatever looting a routing army would do. You can see dead cattle which has been deconstructed by the roadside further down.
That's not very nice.
Make sure Kid Matt doesn't see that.
Yeah, cover his eyes.
And indeed, from this point, can I get perception checks from the two of you? Not from you.
That is a modified 20.
11.
You're too busy covering Kid Matt's eyes.
I cover my own eyes
Modified
as well.
20.
Solidarity. No! Don't look! Don't look!
And Kid Matt's trying to cover my eyes, but he forgets I'm really short, so his hand is on my head. So I'm still there looking.
Yeah. And you, in fact, can see Carrion swooping down and picking out pieces of meat from various corpses of cattle along the route. It looks like this is going to take pretty much the rest of the day to walk all the way down the valley towards the sea.
We've got a day's walk ahead of us.
Well, luckily we all know some cheerful songs to keep a song in our heart and a skip in our step.
Let's
Go!
When I wake up, yes, I know I'm gonna be.
I'm gonna be the man who's walking next to you.
Can't believe I've been in Scotland 17 days and this is the first time. Digby, are you going along with them as well?
Absolutely.
Okay. One more survival check from everybody just to make sure you don't horrendously get lost.
Modified 21.
Okay, you'll be fine.
19, yeah.
19.
23.
Wow. Like I say, it's not hard to follow an entire army. Especially when they weren't trying to hide their tracks, walk in single file to hide their numbers. So, before long, you're following the sun, and you can see it dipping down below towards the horizon, the sky becoming a pink that you've become accustomed to.
Lovely.
Despite the fact that you've now been sort of kicking the cult out and the sky seems to have cleared mostly around where you've come from. Ahead of you, you can see a storm bank on the horizon. You seem to be heading in the right direction. From what you've learned, where there is stormy clouds, that is pretty much where the cult have influence at the moment.
I have a bad feeling about this.
It's lovely to get out in the country. Some fresh air and a lovely view. I wish I had a painting set to paint it for a postcard.
What I wouldn't give
For my postal service.
What I wouldn't give for this war to be over, so I could just get some fresh air and, just take in a very nice long breath of the wild.
There we go.
I don't understand that reference, for I am from a different world from the one that we are in.
Good job, Catherine. You can see the coast now. And it is a beachy coast, in fact, not rocky. And there is a town, a port town, which... roll history checks. Let's see who would know about this town.
Is there a promenade? I hope there's a promenade.
Natural 1, so
Natural
I know.
1!
You're not gonna believe this. Natural 1.
Oh my days! What are the chances?
You know, I've
Well, I
never
mean,
been
Statisticians in the room.
1 in
yeah.
800.
1 in 800.
Oh,
There
no,
we
1 in
go.
8,000, sorry, 1 in 8,000.
Not
Oh, jeez.
only
Yeah,
have
1 in
I
8,000.
never been to the sea, but I've literally never heard of it before.
And there it is,
Oh my
stretching
gosh.
out in front of you, more water than you've ever seen before. You feel a stirring in your chest as you look out at the waves.
It's like the world's largest bubble bath.
And it does foam and froth. The weather is not good at the moment. Can I get So from your elevated position, I was in the middle of talking about this town. None of you know about this town. You've spent all your lives in the mountains. And you know the concept of the sea, but, like, you've never been here. The salt in the air smells strange and new to you. As the wind whips in from the coast, you can see that this town is definitely a port. Can I get perception checks from all of you? Just to see how much you can see.
26.
26. What did you get, sorry?
9.
9?
13.
13. Okay, so you've seen what I've described so far. Dottie, you can see a couple of ships out on the sea.
What's a ship? I've literally never heard of one.
Okay, you can see a couple of strange creatures out on the sea, which seems to have these great white fins above them.
Friends!
Maybe.
They're drowning! Help! Help! Somebody help!
Can you roll a nature check for me? You're aware that creatures live in the sea.
Caught up in the moment. You know, I think they might be okay. They look like they're swimming.
They're fine. I mean, you can hear the oceanic whisper that says, I am the solitude that asks and promises nothing, and that is how I shall set you free.
Again,
That's
I
beautiful.
literally have no idea what that means.
Digby,
Yes.
you see the town.
Mm-hmm.
You see the ships. You probably, being from the capital, are aware of what a ship is, despite having never seen this town in particular.
Cats don't like water.
No. You can also see an island far out on the horizon, which is where the ships appear to be headed, and it is also where the storm clouds are centered over.
Well, that's not ominous at all.
Yeah, well, there you are. There is... yeah, that's it.
It's like a beacon, honestly. You look just over the horizon, see the island, storm clouds, ships heading towards it.
Hang on, I can't see. I'm just going to climb up on something first.
I pointed out quite.
Yes. Now I see what you mean.
Yes. I have that feeling in my stomach that that's where we need to head.
Hey, here he is.
Hey!
Well, I tell you...
I didn't notice you before.
Suddenly, an elf crops up from the underearth.
He was stealthing this whole time.
Successfully.
Sorry about this, everybody. Quick break, but this is Matt, and
Hi.
I presume you're playing Aircos?
Yes.
As you have been. Who is an elf scout. I'll do your introduction so you can get yourself sorted. Where we're at, Aircos, is we're looking out. We're tracking the cult to see if you can find their HQ so that you can hit them while they're where they live. And you've tracked them to the coast, and you're looking out at the sea, which we'll find out if you've ever seen before, and a town on the coast, which apparently the cult seem to have moved through and are now retreating on ships towards an island far off in the horizon.
Excellent.
Can you roll a quick history check for me?
Yeah.
So what is the character's name again?
Aircos.
How do you spell that?
That's however best pleases you, but I tend to go with A E R K, not C O S.
That's grand.
Thanks. The history check is 9.
Yeah. So you're aware that there would have been some
A
port.
C.
You're aware of the sea and you're aware of ships and ports and stuff, but you don't know what this town is.
Aircos, would you like a scone?
No, thank you. I've just eaten, but very kind. I may take you up on it in a short while.
So, what's your approach, Barty?
Looking at the town, does it seem to be riddled with cultists and other eldritch monstrosities?
You did get a 26 on your perception, so I will say that there are people in the town. From up here, you can see that.
I recommend that we perhaps approach the town with stealth and see
Always a fan.
if it's welcoming that we charter a boat. If not, we steal one.
Well, you know, we should maybe, in the town as well, we should also maybe purchase a nice gift, because it's quite rude to show up empty-handed.
And we should also find all the workers in the docks and get them to unionize and unite and rise up against the oppression of the cult.
So, everybody has laid out their motivations. What is your approach going to be?
I agree with the stealth and caution. I think that's our best bet because we don't know how many cultists will be there.
Indeed.
Well, if that's the case, then I shall take out my ball of yarn, throw it into the air, and the black astral cat appears as I pass without a trace.
Knitting?
I love to knit.
Oh, look. I made my own hat.
It is gorgeous.
It's a bubble.
Can I get stealth checks, please?
Natural 10.
10?
Oh, no, sorry, 10. Yeah, modified 10.
Add 10 to it.
So that's 20.
20.
Also 20.
Okay.
Do I get to add 10?
Yeah, that's the spell he cast. So he cast.
God, because I rolled a 4.
Oh, excellent. 39.
Is that the highest one we've had yet? 39?
It's the same as the highest one.
Oh, okay.
Well,
so
damn
equal
them.
What
You
was
know,
the natural roll?
19.
So you could have got a 40.
I could have gotten a
but
40.
okay.
You know, I swore
Alas.
there was an elf here before. Just came for a fleeting visit.
Yeah, Ekos, you are a practiced scout. You did not need the magic, and yet even the pads of your feet on the ground seem stifled by some druidic trickery as you're moving. And you leave literally no trace when you move. So you head down the valley into the town. The first couple of buildings on the outskirts of the town are houses, in fact, as the road leads in. Are you travelling on the road or off the road?
Off the road, I would assume.
I'd have thought so, yeah.
Yes.
So through the underbrush, you're travelling parallel to the road, but off it, and you come across these few houses on the outskirts of the town. You can try and investigate a little bit, or you can move further into the town. It's not a big town. Even from here, you can see the sea, and there are this town can only hold a population of maximum like 100, 125. It's not a big town at all.
I'll dart over to
only
one
they were
of the
aware of
houses real quickly and look through the windows and see if it's inhabited or has been inhabited recently.
Roll an investigation check.
Ooh, that's good. 19.
19. Yep, definitely looks inhabited. And in fact, as you continue to watch, a very charming-looking young man walks across your vision, holding a pie from one side to the other. You can see is a living room, and then just beyond a kitchen. You only get glimpses of this man as he appears to be preparing a meal back and forth.
Is it a stone house that I can stone whisper and study again?
These are indeed stone houses.
Excellent, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it would
study
be
the
a
stone.
poor coastal town to build their stuff out of wood.
Yeah. So that's 6 on both dice, so I know nothing about them. Oh no, I just start getting distracted and talking about stone and how much I love limestone and how appalled I feel that when people look at the stone, they only see the work of the architect, but the labor of the dwarves who constructed it and made the tools always invisible, and all the hammers and sickles that they've used have been invisible to their hands.
So Markson goes
Yeah.
on one of his speeches.
Nice for a young man to have a passionate laugh. Something to.
And he can
motivate.
bake.
And he can bake. And no.
See, in our household, we believe in the equal distribution of the gender
Okay,
labor.
Cool. Yes, so Digby, that is what you see.
I scatter back to the group and relay that it just appears to be an individual getting ready for dinner.
What are they having?
I saw a pie. It looked rather
A
good.
pie? What kind of pie? I love a pie.
I don't know. I didn't see the contents. It had a lid.
Rather
Do
sensible.
you want to go ask?
Roll a
We could
perception
go
check.
ask.
You can't smell it.
I'm just thinking so much about how I love pie. Flaky pastry. A little bit of drool comes out.
I kind of want a pie now. Stop it.
Scone.
No, I've got half one thing.
I take a handkerchief and just hand it to you and say we should probably move on.
You move deeper into the town.
Deeper into the town.
as you follow the road, can I get another stealth check? Pass without trace is still applicable, but this is the last time it will be, as you've spent a few minutes walking down into the town.
I'll not just keep my
26.
39.
26?
I would really like to keep my 39.
Nope.
Okay, 23.
23 is still good.
30.
30, fantastic. A quiet dwarf.
19.
19, okay. That's fine. Good job you have this spell, eh? It was a good choice. As you move through the town, you move from shadow to shadow. It's very easy to find places to be out of the way in the alleys as the sun is dipping low and much of the town is in darkness. But you come across a town square, very small, very sort of utilitarian. There seems to be a tavern where there is some warmth and some light coming from, some
tavern?
noise. Yeah.
I love a tavern.
As well as a sort of town hall / temple looking building to the right of it.
Can I discern if it's a temple? What's the god?
Yeah. Roll a religion check.
Oh no.
Religion, you say?
It's not great, is it, Reese?
It's a 7.
I mean, religion is just the opium of the masses anyway.
So,
What's an opium?
roll a nature check.
8.
Oh, you're too young and too pure for this.
Listen, I'm 46.
not young, too pure. Dottie is too pure a
You know,
soul.
I heard some of me orphans mention that. The ones that were hanging out.
Don't make that canon!
The ones that were hanging out with some rogues.
Daughter,
were
you really
mentioning
need to
it.
have a word with those orphans. Opium is not safe for them.
Oh no! I thought it was some kind of toy. They kept talking about going out to play with some opium.
Okay, so the answer to your question, Reese, is you can't tell what god it's from. But it looks very old. It looks like the temple's been here quite some time.
Okay.
Do you want to roll a history check on the stones for me,
Sure.
actually?
An advantage with that, thank heavens. 16.
It's not a stone you immediately recognize. You feel like it's maybe been imported.
I licked the stone. This is not limestone.
You're
this
right
is not
there,
from
young
here.
man.
This stone is not from here. I think this is imported from somewhere.
You're still on the other side of the town square, just to be clear,
Oh.
from the temple. But yes, you
Okay.
can tell that from
Yeah.
here.
So I don't lick the stone then.
No, sorry. I mean, you can run across the town square and lick the stone.
But I'm not sure the
if
stealth
that's
would
your
work very well
immediate
with that.
desire. But
No,
I'm
no,
not
no.
going to stop you.
No.
You know what I said about it being good for a young man to have a passion?
Yeah.
Maybe not so passionate.
So, that's the situation. The streets are pretty much deserted, as you can see, and the tavern seems packed, and there does seem to be a little bit of movement, a little bit of life in the temple as well, or the town hall. We can't quite tell. It seems to function as both.
The tavern from out here. Can we tell if it's a nice family establishment or a little more of a drinker's dive?
Roll an investigation check.
23.
23. This tavern is not named. From that, you can discern it's probably the only tavern for quite some way around. Probably the only tavern in the town, and probably has been owned by... It is a family business, yeah. The locals probably only know it as the tavern. Right. It seems old, but does seem to have been maintained quite well. So you can see new glass windows... bless you. New glass windows that are quite clear, quite very modern looking, and the lights from inside seem to flicker as if they are old-fashioned sort of mundane lighting as opposed to magic lighting. Was there anything else that I can answer you? Because you've got a really good score there.
Is it the sort of place I'd walk into and discuss in thieves' camp? Or is it, not?
Could be, but again, this is too small a town to tell.
Yeah.
If you saw this tavern in Goldcrest, oh yeah, Yeah,
Right.
there'd be some rogues that would hang out here, but in this town, who's to say?
Okay, cool.
I'm just gonna lean over you there.
Go for it.
Go for it. From what we've seen of the locals so far, does it seem like there's heavy cult influence here, or is it sort of place that, a friendly adventuring party could charter a boat?
Roll again an investigation check.
Man, 7.
You don't see much trace of the cult here.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, then perhaps we should find a harbour master?
Yes.
That sounds like the best plan we've got so far.
Sounds
Well,
like
I'm
the
not
type of
planning on
person.
swimming it. Or could I?
Imagine if we had a
I wouldn't
way-
recommend it.
Imagine if we had something like a fish, but big. Really big and blue.
So on the horizon,
I've never seen a whale, so I can't actually say it.
as the
Oh,
as the
whales
s-
aren't fish, they're mammals.
But I don't know that. I've never been to the sea, remember?
Neither have I wouldn't know that either.
so as the sun continues to dip below the horizon, you can see that there is actually a sort of green tinge to the sunset, which is something none of you have ever seen before, and it does put you a little bit at unease to look upon it.
I'm just waiting for that saving throw.
Nope.
Okay.
That's a bit uneasy, isn't it, lads?
So what's the plan, guys?
Find a harbour master.
So what's the plan?
Go to the harbour master's office in the port. Knock on his
Ah,
door.
okay, cool. Roll an investigation check for me.
10.
10. And presumably you're going to knock on the door, so you've stopped stealthing at this point. In my head, but correct me if you're.
I mean, we're gonna sneak up to the harbour and then knock on the door. So
Okay, fine.
I'm stealthing into the harbour and then knock up like out of stealth.
So you wander over to the harbour side, which goes straight into the sea. There is one ship here. Just the one. One big wooden construction. Can you roll an intelligence check for me? You get
16!
you suddenly the penny suddenly drops and it clicks that what you saw earlier were these things
Oh,
in front of you.
so they're not animals.
No, doesn't seem to be alive. Seems to be made of wood.
Oh, like a moving tavern.
A little bit like a moving tavern, yeah. Dotty's found a new desire.
Tavern that can float on water!
There is a.
An empire to be built!
We shall go to the east.
I could expand my livelihood.
So we've got communism here, capitalism here.
It's for the good of the community.
That's what you say, but pretty soon you'll be a vampire sucking off of the workers' labour.
Oh no! All that wealth will trickle
What's
down.
a vampire?
What are they
Yeah,
sucking
the
off?
cup at the top doesn't just keep getting bigger.
So you see a building which seems larger than the others. Perhaps that's the harbour master's office. You only got a 10. What do you
Yeah.
want from me?
I think that's the harbour master's office. I'm just gonna go knock, have a few words.
Seems forward.
Lead the way.
I'm gonna like rifle through my bag to see what baked goods I have on me to offer as an offering.
Okay.
I've still got a scone left.
So you knock on the door. Can I get a perception check from you, please?
2.
Nope. There
Oh,
seems
it's 3, but yeah.
3.
still shit, yeah.
There seems to be no response.
Oh.
Would you like a scone?
Can I ask you, please, to step aside?
Sure.
I hope you're not about to do anything illegal, young man.
Would I? Hello?
And the door almost immediately opens.
Oh.
And a very sort of tall, slim-looking male stands there. As you look at him, you can't quite tell if it's elf or human. and he's got this very wide, sort of slack mouth and long nose, and he looks at you and goes, "Hello."
Hello.
Introduce myself in Elvish.
Yeah, okay. So,
Hello, sir. My name's Erkos. And who might you be, if I may ask?
as he hears the Elvish, he sort of straightens up a little bit more, and puts his hands behind his back and responds in Elvish and goes, I'm the harbour master here. My name is Alvin. Why are we laughing? I don't understand.
A pleasure to meet you, sir. For the good of my party, would you mind awfully if we continued to converse in common?
No, of course. You're the one who started speaking English.
Noted. Guys, this is Alvin. He is indeed the harbour master.
Hello, Alvin. Pleasure to meet you.
Can I help you? You don't seem to be people I've seen before. Unless I'm being very rude.
No.
Quite right.
We wish to charter a boat.
Yes, a moving tavern.
We don't have many. That one's a private venture.
Who is the owner of the vessel?
The town's mayor, in fact.
Well, darn, I don't know if we can...
Egan is usually out in the pub at this time. You could probably find him there.
What time is it?
It's getting on for sort of 8:30.
Oh, that's fair enough. I was
Half
worried
eight to
so there
nine.
was some day drinking going on. Which
No,
is
no, no,
very, very irresponsible for someone in charge of a town.
AM.
AM?
PM.
Does this harbour master seem on the level? Am I getting a sense of, like, just not working of his own free will, or
I like him.
Okay, so is he a slave?
is he not so much that, or is something else affecting his
Is
mind?
there an agenda?
He's
Roll an insight check.
What's the elf agenda?
plus 8, 14.
14. There is definitely a guardedness to him, but that's, understandable. He's just opened his door at 8 p.m. to 4 strangers.
It's fair. Maybe we should try the tavern then.
Certainly.
Sounds splendid.
I love a tavern.
If
What's the name of this town again?
this town is Delmuth.
Delmuth.
You inlanders never know about us, do you?
Apologies.
I'm sorry. I've never had a chance to go to the sea. I've been busy looking after 57 orphans.
I'm not saying you're bad people. I'm just saying that it would be nice to be appreciated in Goldcrest.
Well, do you know where... Oh, fine
Oh,
enough, you do know where I'm
oh
from.
no, the news hasn't hit here yet.
What news?
Goldcrest has fallen.
Fallen how?
The cult.
And then
No,
rebuilt.
the cult were holding Goldcrest, sure, but what do you mean fallen?
Well, it blew up and then rebuilt itself, and then blew up again and rebuilt itself again and blows up.
How did this happen?
Well, during the 5 years that the cult were holding the country, they forced a lot of people to dig up a lot of rare material, and the rare material had a lot of properties, and unfortunately one of those properties was high explosive proximity to magic. And there's a lot of magic in Goldcrest, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. It's complete
Roll a
freak accident.
deception check.
That's everything he said is true, isn't it?
No,
The last bit wasn't.
the last bit wasn't.
Deception, you
fine.
say. 17.
So you're saying they were experimenting and there was a freak accident?
Yes.
For the audience, this is completely a lie. They blew Goldcrest up.
Whoa.
I would never.
The rebellion. Anyway,
As did I.
well, that's terrible news, obviously. God, I need to think about that for a minute.
Okay, well, while you're thinking, we'll just be at the tavern. See you soon, bye.
Goodbye. He shuts the door behind you.
Let's go to the tavern.
Indeed.
Are you still stealthing?
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Make a decision.
No. No,
No,
I walk
okay.
through the streets.
I was going to say, so you just stroll out through the streets, and indeed, as you arrive at the tavern, there are some people leaving, and they cast the door open, and there's some laughter as they pay very little attention to you. They sort of catch your eye, and they're like,
Hello.
Sounds. Oh. Must be engaged.
they do a little wave and continue on their way and walking.
Let it
Have a
go,
lovely
Dotty.
night. Travel home safe. Make sure you send a postcard to each friend so
Dotty.
you know that you've all got home safe.
Can I?
One of them turns around and goes, "And you?" Continues walking.
Can I find some dock workers and persuade them to unionize?
It's 8:30 p.m.
Well, they-
inside the pub.
Yes.
Roll an investigation check.
19!
Yeah, a lot of these people are quite obviously manual labourers. You can't tell just from looking at them that they're dock workers, but I mean,
Yeah.
you're in
So-
a port town.
Yeah, so I sit there, I start talking to them, and just start talking to them about how workers deserve fair treatment and how they should all unionize so they have collective bargaining power against their employers.
Okay, for the sake of time,
Yeah, that
can you get
happens.
a
That happens.
Can I get a persuasion check?
7.
They are not particularly receptive to your point of view. They're not hostile. They sit there and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's really interesting. Oh, is that what you do up in the mountains? Is it unions and stuff?" And they're trying to be polite, but they're not gonna revolt.
Oh well.
Good try. So anyway, that's happening while the three of you.
Head to the bar.
Okay,
Like a mead, please.
And in a mild.
a mead and a mild, and for yourself.
Do you have any rum?
Yeah. For you.
Oh, lovely. I see there's a nice little umbrella in there.
Hang on.
Mead.
We've got nothing spiced, I'm afraid.
Oh, it's okay.
There you go.
I've got some cinnamon in my pocket if you'd like.
Of course
Oh.
Cinnamon.
It's five silver, please.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. That's quite extortionate, but I think.
Is it?
I don't know. I've been living in a town without economic infrastructure.
Do people have gold on them?
I'm sure the tavern owner would.
Kashyyyk disseminated gold.
Okay. Fine. Okay,
In
so you pay for your
return
drinks.
a lovely mead. I'll give you a tip and a song.
Nope. You pay for your drinks, I won't be that mean. So the barkeep looks at you and goes, "Travellers, are you?
Yes.
Yes.
You looking to stay the night?"
Looking for a moving tavern which can travel on water.
A ship. She
We're
means
after a
ship.
boat.
Oh, right. Well, Egans is the only one left in the port.
Is that the mayor?
Yeah.
Is where is?
Oh, he's already retired. He's, yeah.
Retired.
Oh, so he'll be
For
at
the evening,
For
Dotty.
Okay.
Is his? Does
It's a
he?
short career.
Introduced, retired.
So does he have a homestead, or is he live
well-
out of the town hall?
I wouldn't bother him at home. He's a pretty stressy chap.
In which case, we'd take a room.
Yeah. He'll be happy to talk to you in the morning.
Splendid.
In the meantime, we've got a couple of spare pies in the back. And you're welcome to have them included in the tab on the room. So I'm not going to lie, it's been slow business year.
What's in them?
The pies? Well, they're fish.
Hi.
You're in a harbour town. What
Fish pie.
We didn't know what was.
I've never eaten fish. I would love it.
Okay, cool. If you just sit down there, spare table, I'll bring them over when they're ready.
Just a quick question. On my way into town, I saw that your town hall is also part temple. What's the god?
Oh, we haven't got many. Buildings around here, so we use what we can.
Of course, it makes sense.
People worship what they worship. They use the same space. We try not to step on each other's toes.
How accommodating.
Insight check.
Yeah, go on. I've rolled quite high.
I immediately trust this lovely man.
Oh, so have you?
20.
20. Okay, he is. You do get the impression that he's guarded about talking about religion, and he doesn't necessarily want to do that. So he has just sort of he's full on avoided your question. He hasn't lied at you, but he's full on avoided your question.
So can I ask the dock workers what private venture exactly that Egan is involved with, just to ascertain whether or not he has in fact been importing or exporting the ore.
Again, we're coming towards the end of the hour, so roll a persuasion check quickly.
20, natural 20.
Natural 20. He has indeed been shipping something for the cult back and forth from their island, but you get that sort of, you infer that rather than they tell you that.
Yeah.
But only you know that at this moment in time. And the last thing that I'd like to do is you all sit around this table and your pies are brought over. Can I get Constitution saving throws from everyone, please?
Oh no!
Oh no! That is a 1.
16?
16.
Nat 20.
Okay.
17.
I thought I was a hardy dragon, but I was taken in by flaky
Oh.
Oh.
Well,
to get the rest of
the cat and the elf have eaten fish before. It does not do well on your stomach. And as you go to bed, you're aware that it's going to be a very unsettled evening.
But I need my beauty spot. Even if I spray me lavender over the bed for a nice soporific effect.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. It's a natural one. Nothing I can do to help you.
Oh, crumbs. I'll just have to wait this one out.
And, okay, so as the party accept the generous hospitality of this inn, this tavern, and stay the night to refresh themselves, get themselves a long rest, get all their spells back, and hopefully in the morning meet with the mayor to talk about his private venture working for the cult, that is where we're going to have to leave this hour of Adventurers Wanted. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Too kind. If you enjoyed it, please do spread the word about the show. We still have 38 hours left. So there's plenty more plot to go. I said last hour we're barreling into the third act here. That's what we're doing. And we do also have a limited amount of player tickets still left for, I think, the 21st, the 23rd, and the 25th off the top of my head. I might be wrong about the 25th. 21st, 22nd, 23rd, something like that. So, yeah, if you want to come up and play with us, like Matt and Vivek, you can indeed buy tickets to do that. Otherwise, we're on social medias at Adventurer Wanted, except on Twitter, where we're at Adventurers250. If you can't come back, you can keep up at Adventurers250, where we're live tweeting the entire thing from the back there as a sort of novel-ish type thing. And we're also on Twitch there from that camera there. So if you do want to put us on while you're cooking your breakfast or whatever,
Making scones, you know.
Yeah, whatever, making scones, then you can follow along there. We also have a Patreon account. We do this every month in London. We also do events in Brighton, and we do free play events to try and bring the hobby to a wider community. So if you really feel like you would like to support us, then you can. What's that? Oh, and there's a donate button on the website.
If any of you are wondering what to get Leo for a birthday present today, then...
So,
The most publicised birthday.
I know, right? And it's going to be done 2 more times as well. Yep. Just before we say goodbye, I'd love to throw over to our players to give them an opportunity to plug something that they've seen at the Fringe, or maybe something that they're involved in. I've just off the top of my head, are you involved in anything?
No.
So I tell you what, we'll get this Fringe specific one out of the way first, and then we'll go to the 3 of you. So Matt?
Yeah, I am involved in a new musical. It's called My Left Right Foot, the musical. It's from Birds of Paradise Theatre in co-production with National Theatre of Scotland. We have just received news that we are completely sold out, and this morning received a Fringe First Award.
Never mind.
So look out for future life. We will be going on, hopefully.
Outside of playing D&D, I'm also a writer and performance poet, if that sounds like something you're interested in. I live in Edinburgh 12 months of the year, so not just the one where we have maximum culture. So if you're interested in that, go to Catherine Wilson Poetry on Facebook, and I am like 2 likes away from 500, so it would really make my day.
Maximum Culture, a feature cut from the Crisis suit, of course.
I'm a punter, and I'm going to plug a fake show. It's called Flyer, you fools. It's a one-man show based in the realm of It tells the story of a man who flies on the Mile dressed as a hobbit and the wacky characters he meets along the way.
Vivek.
That's a whole
Okay, I am a member of GIAS, the Grand Edinburgh Adventuring Society, who are the role-playing game society at the University of Edinburgh. They do fantastic role-playing game events all throughout the year, so do look them up, and it's open to both students and non-students if you're resident in Edinburgh. They also organize Compulsion, which is Scotland's oldest and largest gaming convention, so yeah, that happens around Easter. The other thing I'd like to plug is my mundane day job is that I'm a PhD student in English literature. You might have noticed all the Auden references shoehorned in. One of the things I'm doing is I'm trying to design a tabletop role-playing game as a way of communicating research that I've been doing recently into the ethics of climate change and the Anthropocene. So if you're interested in that and how you can use tabletop role-playing to communicate research, then I've got a website for this now. It's vsnt.uk/RPG. So that's Victor Sierra November Tango.uk/RPG.
Cool. Thank you very much. And last thing I need to do is call for a round of applause for everyone on stage. Thank you very much. We do have a really quick turnaround, guys. So if you don't mind going and refreshing your ticket if you're staying, or otherwise,